everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Arts at EPCC. My name is Dr. Yasmin A. Flores, and I'm an associate professor of music here at EPCC and your host. With me today, we've had him on the show before, but I had to bring him back because he's so fantastic. My good friend Michael Head from Mass Communications. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's been a long day.
It has. It has been a long day, yes.
But it's wonderful to get to talk to you. And so this is a two-part episode.
Yes.
This is the beginning of a two-part episode because I thought, you know what, you're such a wonderful guest to have on the show. And I thought, I'm going to have you on for a full hour for us, but you'll see it as two parts. And so, Michael, what is going on? We're in spring of 23 right now, and I just kind of want to know, you've been on the show before, you've talked a little bit about your classes, we've talked about the degree plan at length.
Yep.
What's on the horizon for you guys?
Well, I'll start by saying this. The last time we talked, we were just getting back from COVID, and we talked about kind of the struggles of that. I'm really glad that we're seeing the campus alive again with students, everybody there, and everybody kind of enthusiastic. And I'm expecting that to keep growing and growing. And I really like that overcoming those challenges and saying, how do we get back into the swing of things the way things were before? Yeah. As much as we can, as much as it's capable of. In terms of things we're trying to do right now, well, I'll tell you this. I don't know if I've mentioned this the last time. I am the advisor for the film club. Oh, nice. And so I teach in the Mass Comm department. I also advise the film club, which is students producing films together. So we just got off, literally Monday and Tuesday, the students had the opportunity, thanks to the leadership and drive of Chris Gutierrez, the president of the film club, to attend what was called the Visual Scope Workshop. I had to think about the name for a second. Okay. Now, what is this? Yeah, Visual Scope Workshop. There are two companies that are production companies here in town, Raw Visuals and Double Scope Films. Okay. They partnered up, and it's basically an introduction to high-level filmmaking. They have all the professional level gear, the big cameras. They have $80,000 cameras, lenses, things like that. They brought in dancers, they brought in models, they brought in actors, they brought in all these people. And the great thing about it is it's not just the students sitting there watching things happen. It's literally like pushing the students forward and saying, this is how you do things. And so they're learning these skills that even when I was in film school, I did film school remotely. I didn't have a lot of hands-on experience until I got onto sets doing things. Okay. And I'll tell you this, in the professional world, they're not going to spend a whole lot of time walking through, okay, this is how you do a stand. It's kind of like, here's how you do it and then do it. Because on a professional set, it's go, 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 and you got to do it. To a point, you can learn that because there's a position called production assistant, which on one level is kind of like the person that gets coffee for people. Okay. But it's also, they're also learning. They can also learn. That's their chance to sit down and try to pick up skills from other people, maybe jump on and help someone as much as they're able to. That's a whole other discussion. Yeah. But it was a 2-day workshop for students that got to attend. They loved it, seeing the professional lighting, the professional gear that you don't normally have access to. So that was a great experience for them. And I really want to keep doing that. We talked with Double Scope, maybe doing smaller workshops, not so it's 2 days, but maybe like one afternoon, where students can still get specialized training in certain areas that they can apply in other places. So, okay, that's really awesome. So let me kind of, for our audience at home, kind of explain some things here at EPCC that exist for your, hopefully, new freshmen that decide to come on board with us. So at EPCC, we have Campus Life. And Campus Life, who was headed by Arvis Jones for many years. Arvis Jones retired, and now it's Felix Hinojosa currently. And basically, Campus Life it oversees several things, but one of the main things is the student clubs. And so we have, probably over 40, if not 50 clubs at the college. Easily. Yeah. Yes, yeah. And you can find that on our website as well. There's a whole listing of the student clubs.
And so Michael is, as he said, the advisor for the film club.
Yes.
And you don't have to be a mass comm major.
No, it's for anybody. We have people in lots of different majors. It's all students that just want to learn about filmmaking.
Yeah.
And students that are in the mass comm program, in the radio television production track, they get the production classes where we talk about a lot of things. But that's it's a chance for other students to get involved, to learn the different parts on set. I think I mentioned it last time. Filmmaking is not a solo sport. It can be done by yourself. It's not nearly as much fun as when you have a big group of people supporting you to get things done. That
makes perfect sense. So this is a wonderful opportunity, and as he said, for anyone that's just interested, and there's no fee attached. You don't have to pay for it. You just contact Mr. Head, and you can say, "I'd like to become a part of the film club."
Right now, our meetings are Tuesday afternoons. Anybody can be there. We are looking for sponsors.
Yes, of course.
We host the Tejano Film Festival every spring as well.
Oh, that's right.
So students make films and they enter them into the Tejano Film Festival. Last year it was at the Alamo Drafthouse East, so the students get to see their projects on the big screen, but of course that costs a little bit of money. So if you want to have your name on the Tejano Film Festival, let me know, mhead@epcc.edu, because we are definitely looking for people that can financially and logistically support the film festival and the film club, because that's something that we have some equipment, but we're always looking to grow and expand because the technology changes, and getting that experience in the collegiate level can help when you get out into the real world, so to say.
So is it in film club, or is it, because I spoke to Billy Towns about this sort of almost like Academy Awards that you all have? It's like an award ceremony for films, right? And so you all do this later in the spring semester,
That's part of the Tejano Film Festival.
Oh, okay.
So we have judges. I try not to be a judge because I don't want to have any personal implications on that. But I have some friends that they do film production here in town.
Wonderful.
And I harass them and twist their arms and get them to judge for the contests.
Absolutely, that's wonderful. So I think that's really exciting. So even the people from this film club can create these films, not just.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so and that's
we also
great.
use a lot of class projects because of course the production classes
that's
and
what I was gonna ask.
Billy's class also do short films and we've had short films, we've had documentaries, we've had music videos, all part of the Tejano Film Festival. The winner last year was a music video.
Oh, nice.
Which I think was really cool. It's a very different, not what I was expecting, but they did a good job and the judges voted for it, so it was great.
Nice. How long are these films?
Generally it's around 7 minutes.
Okay.
So we have several of them put together. The total runtime last year was I think an hour and a half.
Okay.
So it's pretty good length. Obviously, something like a music video is a little bit shorter, but generally they're 5 to 7 minutes.
That's awesome. So I think that's a wonderful opportunity for students. That's really, really cool. And I'll throw in, a blurb about the music club because we also have a music club too. So if you're ever interested, you can email me, or you can also email Dr. Melissa Garola and Dr. Alina Vasquez, who can direct you to the Music Society, is what we're called. And so the EPCC Student Music Society has been around for quite a while, and they do a lot of fun little things as well. So if you're ever interested in that, please let us know.
And I'll also throw out a blurb for the theater club.
That's right.
Excuse me. I'm going to throw out a blurb for the theater club because we work with Ted Carver. Actually, I was sitting down with him today we were in the lobby area next to the subway, just talking to students about things because one thing about filmmakers, a lot of the students in the film club are people that want to be behind the camera. We need actors as well. We have a theater club that has actors that want to be in things. So theater club as well is something that's a great opportunity. He's trying to kind of build that back up. It's hurting after COVID, I'll say that, but building that back up and getting the actors that we have opportunities in film as well is a really good experience.
Yeah, that is really awesome. So, and please pardon me, my coughing. We all have these allergies.
It's that time of year. It is that time of year.
Although I will say El Paso is always windy. I mean, honestly, there's like never a month where there's not a windy day. So that's amazing. Now, let's say as fall approaches, we have a few things coming up. Registration generally starts in circa April 1st. I want to say there was a year that we did April 15th, but I can't remember. I'd have to look back. But April 1st starts our registration for summer and fall. And then our registration for every spring that one's the 15th. That's October 15th, I believe. So that one, no matter when you're watching the episode, just know our registration dates. And so as that approaches, we also advise students, you can contact us if you're interested in majoring in mass comm, for example. Do you both advise, you and Alex?
The person we're kind of pushing people to for advising is Lisa Elliott right now.
Oh, nice.
She's the master of advising in terms of what classes kids need and also where they want to go. Wonderful. To NMSU or UTEP or whatever program they're looking into. I think she's trying to get a connection with UT Austin, which would be just amazing because there's some great programs down there.
Right.
So she's the one that's kind of the specialist in that. I can give a little bit of advice, but she's the one that really knows the ins and outs of everything for the mass comm major.
Right. Yes, that's fantastic. And you're absolutely right. I remember her in the meetings now because we're on that team of faculty advisors. So if you're interested in mass comm, Lisa Elliott is the go-to. If you're interested in music, you can contact me. I'm the faculty advisor for music. Every area kind of generally has, it's either the coordinator or an assigned faculty advisor. So Ted would be for theater. And who am I missing? Alexis for dance. Yes. Did I get everybody? That's dance, music, theater, mass comm.
Graphic design? Is that in there?
No. We have a graphic design department. But they're actually not a part of the show.
It's an art.
It is.
It's an art.
Anything can be an art. This is what somebody argued. When I was creating the show one day, somebody told me, they were like, well, there's the art of everything. I'm like, well, okay. But this is the fine arts, right? So.
Not so sure about history, but I love history, but I'm not sure it would fit.
History, Music appreciation is generally your history classes and all that. And that's why we bring you all in, because everybody probably wonders, well, mass comm is not really a fine art, but you all do film.
Oh, I would say it is. I think it is. I would definitely argue.
Okay.
That and theater. I actually had this discussion because I was more into theater when I was in college myself. I did a lot of theater stuff. I got into film after I graduated, ironically. Went back to school for film.
Okay.
But I had this discussion with a musician, a pianist.
Oh.
And she flat out said theater is not an art. And I was like,
it's like one of the main art forms.
Well, here was my thought. I'm like, it's not one, it's all of them.
Right.
Because architecture, stage design, you have music for music, you have movement, dance, you have literature for writing, you have painting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, painting can be a painting on the set.
Sure.
It's all the arts put together.
Yes.
And she was like, it's not an art. I was like, oh, come on.
You're right. That's funny.
And film is an extension of it. Modern film grew out of theater. So that's something we talk about in the film appreciation class is we still use terminology like blocking that comes from the theater world.
Right.
So it's an extension of that.
Right, and you and I earlier, we were talking about Broadway actors and the overacting that happens sometimes when they go to TV. So that's really awesome. Now, Pulse just reopened, right? If you want to talk a little bit about that, I've had Melissa Aguilera on the show before. She runs, it's a club, right?
The Pulse Radio Club.
The Pulse Radio Club that handles the radio station at EPCC. So if you want to kind of talk a little bit about that, because I can tell you what I know, and then maybe you could clear it up.
That's not my area of expertise.
Okay.
Alex Hinojosa runs.
Oh,
she's in charge of that. But it's student-directed radio. The students are the DJs. My understanding is, and if I say something wrong, I'm sorry, Alex. But it's student-directed DJs. I think they have 2 DJs right now.
Nice.
When the DJs aren't on, it's pre-programmed music that's going out streaming. I'm not sure they're broadcasting anymore, but I know they're doing streaming radio for now. I could be totally wrong about that. But it's a chance for students to get into the radio market and get some experience because that's a different kind of art in and of itself. It's that communication with timing things out in a way that's live and in person and ready to go at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. And anybody can be a radio DJ, right? As long as they're a part of the club.
Right.
Okay, awesome. I think that's terrific. And so the contact there, if I'm not mistaken, it's Melissa Aguilera. Is that right?
I think it's her and Alex.
And Alex. Okay. Right. Alex Hinojosa.
Right.
So that's really great. We do so many neat things on campus, and by the way, you can usually hear the radio station when you're at the Via Vet of the campus as you're ascending the stairs between the A building and the C building. You'll hear the radio station playing, and so we have the student clubs, and then we have our performances and our, as you mentioned, your film club does something. Do your mass comm majors do any kind of event?
The closest is the Tejano Film Festival.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Even though that's sponsored by the film club, a lot of the students that are in the film classes, but not necessarily in the film club, still enter their projects in there. And the Tejano Film Festival is open for anyone. You don't have to be in the club to actually submit to them. Okay. We've had a couple of projects entered by people that were like, who is this person? We've never met them before. Wow. But they're great projects. And like some of them come from Billy Town's class, where his audio production class, they do a film project. They might not be in the film club, but they get entered in the Tejano Film Festival. So it's a very wide net. It's for anybody that really wants to be involved. We're gonna have posters up in the next couple of weeks as quick as we can. So we're getting ready for that.
That's fantastic. Very good. And when is it happening this semester?
I'm waiting on confirmation. Right now, the plan is May 4th at the Alamo Draft House East.
Oh, fun.
May the 4th be with you.
That's hilarious. You had to throw that in.
That's of course. I'm a geek. I got to do it. But that's the plan right now. I'm waiting on confirmation on that. Just checking the final boxes.
Very
sometimes
good.
That takes a lot to get done.
Okay, that's really awesome. So we have all of that going on, and then for us, which the show is not about music today, it's about mass comm, but we also have our events coming up. We have one. This show will air before we do our student ensemble concert, but this show will probably air before we do our student showcase concert, and that's going to happen on May 3rd for 2023. And so the kids are getting ready. I used to call them kids, but they're students of all ages, actually. And so, yeah, they're all very excited about that. Now, what projects, what about fall? What's coming? Are there anything? We talked about an increase in enrollment, right? Which has been such a blessing because let me tell you a funny story about the AST. So the AST, which if you're wondering what that is, it's a building. It's the Art, Science, and Technology building, okay? And it's a brand new building that opened last year, as a matter of fact. It was April.
Supposed to be like 2 years ago, but yeah.
Right, yes, it was April of 2022, and we had the grand opening. The music department performed for that, and it was all quite lovely. But that was in the works since I got here in 2016. And so it was all this planning, and we were talking about, where are we going to put the building, what's going to be in the building, how are we going to, everything, right? So everything finally came to fruition. We had the grand opening. Now a lot of the classes are in that new building, and the A building is kind of starting to, I'll say, calm down a bit. Not to say that it's empty. There's still a lot of stuff going on in the A building, but it certainly, everyone wants everything shiny and new, and so a lot of things are happening in the AST. And we have the Flex Hall there, and I love
the term flexitorium.
Oh, I
love that word.
Flexitorium. I don't know if that's an actual word, though.
It's not. Okay. Like everything else in English, it's just a bunch of other words stuck together and said here, but
exactly.
It works.
That's hilarious. Well, and so it's been a joy to use this brand new building. Now, you mentioned, of course, this performance. Now, Billy's going to come to you with a suggestion.
Okay.
I think to tie in music a little bit more, because he has his music tech projects, right? So his MIDI. I'll do a plug for Billy Towns. The MIDI 1331 and the MIDI 2355 is MIDI 1 and MIDI 2. And so if you're ever interested in those courses, they are 3 credit hours. We've had Mr. Towns on the show before, and he's talked at length about these. What these classes are essentially, you don't need to know how to read music to join these classes. This is just basically, I call it pop music, but essentially it's you being able to stack recordings of yourself or your friends. Basically, you do a track, you put it in the computer, you record another track, and you can layer it, right? You could be your own one-man band, essentially.
And I've had students that came out of that class that were like, I never thought about making music before. And they learned the basics of putting together their own songs. One of the music videos that was entered last year was a music video from a song that the student had written in the MIDI class. So
right. And that's just it. It's that essentially these kids will join, students will join this class knowing nothing. I mean, because I've seen them. They walk in really green, really clueless, finding some of the projects at first rather intimidating. But then as Billy works with them, and he's always super encouraging and very sweet, and Daniel Becker as well, who is the lab assistant, and helps them if they want to, like if you wanted to record on a Saturday afternoon, you want to record yourself playing your trumpet, Daniel Becker will come in, set up the microphones, record your track, and then finally, you record another track and just start layering it until you have basically the complete band, but it could just be you playing all these different instruments, right? Yep. And so when the students take these MIDI courses, then they can turn around and take the visual, video production.
Digital video production?
Yes, thank you. Visual video production. What's the number on that?
1336 is digital production 1.
Okay.
1337 is production 2.
Nice. And the prefix is Comm?
Comm.
Yes. So Comm 1336.
1336 and 1337.
Fantastic. Right. This is where they learn the video portion. So Billy always recommends audio first.
Maybe we have a bunch of students that do both at the same time.
Oh, nice.
So they're in my class and Billy's class at the same time.
That's perfect. That's perfect, because then they can work on one project and combine the knowledge.
And we've had students do that before, where they make one for both classes. And
that's
I'm
awesome.
Totally okay with that.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's great. As Michael was mentioning earlier, you can create a music video, you can create short films. That's what these essentially are. And Mr. Towns himself has actually recorded several movies. Border Lords, I believe.
Border Lords 1, 2, and 3. They're working on, I don't know if I can say this, but I'm going to.
Okay.
He's working on a series, a television series that's going to be on CW based on his Border Lords film franchise.
Cool. That's so awesome.
I think he asked me to direct one, but we haven't gotten to talk about that yet.
Okay.
So,
that's
score.
Yes, that's wonderful. And he's so talented and just a joy to work with. So he's doing that. And so that's who you get to work with. You get to work with Mr. Towns and of course Mr. Michael Head over here, who
I will never forget, my wife was putting together a fundraiser for her school, and she got super excited because she was like, and guess what? We get Billy Towns to perform. You know who he is? And I was like, yeah, I work with him. She's like, you work with Billy Towns? I was like, yes. He's a nice guy. I've helped him on stuff before.
Right. How funny. Yeah, El Paso loves him. I mean, we take Billy for granted. I think because we see him
very talented.
Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm like, hi Billy, but he is phenomenal. I had a guest artist come in last week who had the opportunity to work with him, and also with Ruben Gutierrez, and he was just wowed. He was floored when he got a chance to work with both of them. Yeah. And he said, wow, they're really good. And I said, I pulled in the best for you because, everybody was excited to have my friend in town. And just an absolute joy. And check out Jazz at Sunset. That's another plug for Mr. Towns. So on the horizon for fall and spring, I don't know what you all are looking at as far as expanding on your awards, or tell me your classes again. So you have the appreciation courses. That's the Comm 1306.
I'm trying to think of the number. No, for film appreciation, it's Comm 2336. I could be wrong on that. It's it's a 23.
All right.
And I have a lot of non-comm majors that take it as an elective.
Fun.
So and that's a blast. It's
Wonderful.
A total blast.
Very good. And that fills in for their appreciation course. Okay. And then you offer the video production 1 and 2.
Yes.
Then you all have, beyond that, it's
I'm trying to think.
the speaking courses.
Billy's classes.
Okay. Public speaking.
Oh my gosh, Miss Figueroa's classes. It's not script writing. It's I should know this. Writing for Mass Communication, I think, is the name of the class.
Yeah.
It's a writing class.
Okay.
And it's a challenging class, but students are going to learn a lot about effective writing in various news broadcast, and I think she also does a little bit of script writing.
Awesome. And journalism falls under the Mass Comm umbrella as well. It's a huge department.
It is.
And I was in your neck of the woods the other day. We were looking at the offices up there. So what's interesting about Mass Comm at Valle Verde is that it has essentially it has a whole separate almost wing. With all these.
Every own little corner.
Yes.
The first time you try to go there, it's a little hard to get to. But
yes, exactly. I know. You're
after
like.
that first time, it's fine.
Right. And
go to biology and keep going.
Yes, I know. Yes, it is through the biology department. I forgot about that. That's funny. And you have all these separate little rooms where you all can record little projects, etc. And that's where a lot of the magic happens. Now, the radio station, though, is downstairs.
Downstairs on the first floor. Kind of towards that central area. That's where the Pulse radio station is. Right next to the writing lab, I believe.
Yes, the writing center. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, and so that's really terrific. And so when you're looking at this umbrella of people, you have Doug Carr over here, who's journalism, right?
Yes.
That's
and the Tribune, the Tejano Tribune, also is always looking for writers, contributors, things like that.
Wonderful. And you all do that online now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that's all online through Dr. Douglas Carr, and then Alex Hinojosa teaches
the marketing, the advertising.
That's right.
Mass comm. She has a little bit of everything.
Okay.
She's the coordinator, so she gets to pick the classes.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And then
she does a great job.
Lisa Elliott, who's also on board and also works with our marketing department here at EPCC. And then there's you, and who am I missing?
We have a couple of people that work in the school districts and at UTEP.
Okay.
Ramon Villa also teaches production classes, and Marvin Hanley teaches production and audio classes as well.
Wow.
He teaches them. Marvin Hanley teaches them on the weekends. I think Ramon teaches during the week.
So we are at the end of the first portion of this episode, but you can check us out on EPCC TV on our YouTube channel, The Arts at EPCC. And if you're watching us on TV, then you can just hang on for a little bit and we will be right back. And in the meantime, go grab a donut, get some coffee, and then you can tune back in and see the second part of this episode. We'll be right back. Thanks, everybody.